Right, so now let us continue with this question. Now, in this question, we're going to do number 1.2, right? We're going to do 1.2 now. Now, let us read 1.2 together. It says, on a trip to Florida, Akwande booked into a hotel for 4 nights. 4 nights. The exchange rate at that time was $1, correspond with 16 rand and 77 cents. The cost per night was $450. How much did she spend in rents for the 4 nights? Okay. So we start here. Akwande most definitely went to Florida, which is in USA. And then they use dollars in that side. So in Florida, to answer question number 1.2, in Florida, this is what is happening from the statement. Cost per night. So meaning one night in Florida hotel, you're going to have to pay how much? Cost per night. You're going to have to pay $450 for one night. So they are telling us that $1 is equals to 16 rand 77 cents. So that means $1 is equals to how much? Is equals to 16 rand 77 cents. So how much did she spend in rents for 4 nights? Now this is what is happening. Akwande want to sleep there for 4 nights. Akwande wants to sleep there for 4 nights. So we wanna know how much is she going to pay in rents, not in dollars. But before we can determine 4 nights in rent, we need to know how much is 4 nights in dollars. So one night is $450. 4 nights is gonna be 450 plus 450 plus 450 plus 450. Meaning for 4 nights, we need 4 450s. So that means you're gonna say 4 nights in dollars in Florida. You're gonna say it's 4 multiplied by $450. So that means you're gonna say 4 multiplied by 450 is like adding 454 times, right? So 400 is gonna be $1,800, meaning 4 nights in Florida. 4 nights is gonna cost Akwande this in dollars. So we want to know, okay, if this is what Akwande needs to pay in dollars, this, it corresponds with how much rent. Remember, we said $1 corresponds with 16.77. So we want to know $1,800 will correspond with how much. We'll just write X. So from these equations, I can just only cross multiply to make things much more easier. This is how I do it. So this side of the equation, it's dollars. This side of the equation, it's rent. Okay. Therefore, $1 is equals to this. $1,800 is equals to how much? Then you cross multiply. You're going to say X multiplied by $1 is going to be 1, because here we have 1x multiplied by 1. 1 multiplied by 1, it's 1. Let me write x. 1 multiplied by 1 is going to be x. And therefore 16.27 multiplied by 1,800. You're going to say 16.27 multiplied by 1,800. You get, it's 16.27, not 27, 77. 16.77. It's gonna be 30,186 rand. So that means $1,800 is equals to 30 in rands is equals to 30,186. So the question here, it wanted us to do what? How much did she spend in rands for 4 nights? So for 4 nights in dollars, it's $1,800, but in rands it's gonna be 30,000. 186 rand. I hope that was clear. Now, to continue, we're going to do question number 1.3. Now, 1.3, it says to us, after 7 years, it's a different question, okay? Independent question. 1.3, it says to us, after 7 years, an investment increased to 95,789.35. If the interest rate was 8.25% per annum, compounded annually, calculate the amount initially invested. So to solve this question, if you want to use your timeline, it is fine, okay? It is fine, you can use your timeline. But I don't think like in this question, you want to utilize your timeline because it's only 3 marks, just gonna waste time there trying to figure it out on timeline. Questions that need timeline, it's the one that you do continuous investments. We will see on number 1.4. So they say to us, after 7 years, an investment increased to this. If you want to, because now we are practicing, let me open just timeline. So here it's T. Normally my timeline starts with T0, which is the beginning of the first period, and then T1 is the end of the first period, okay? Till T, let's see, how many years? 7 years, 7 years. All right. They say to us, after 7 years, meaning from here to there, it's after 7 years. From year 1 till 7 years, this is after 7 years. So they say to us, after 7 years, an investment increased to, not from, it increased to. So that means after 7 years, here is after 7 years, we had how much in a bank? We have 95,798 rand and how many cents? 35 cents. Ne? After 7 years, this was there as accumulated amount after 7 years. If the interest rate was 8.25% per annum compounded annually, so they say after 7 years, apparently the interest rate was 8.25% per annum compounded annually. Sometimes they can say compounded half yearly or semi-annually. Sometimes they can say compounded quarterly. Sometimes they can say compounded monthly, even daily, they can say compounded daily. So when they say compounded annually, you divide interest rate by 1, you multiply your number of years by 1 when they say annually. When they say quarterly, you divide your interest rate by 4. It's because we have 4 quarters in a year, right? You divide your interest rate by 4, you multiply your number of years by 4. When they say half yearly, you divide by 2, you multiply by 2. When they say compounded monthly, you divide by 12, you multiply by 12, your number of years, okay? That's how it actually works. So, and they say to us, calculate the amount initially invested. This is where we're going to have to invest. So we want to determine our X over here, or you can say it's P, which is the principal, the money that needs to be deposited now so that this money can earn interest of 8.25% annually, compounded annually for a period of 7 years to yield to this amount or to accumulate to this amount. I hope that is clear. So to calculate this initial amount, we're going to use that formula that says, because it's compound interest compounded, these are the key terms that can help you to know which formula to utilize. Meaning you're going to use that formula compound interest, which says A is equals to P 1 plus I to the power of N. So remember, A, it is the accumulated amount by the end of 7 years. P, it is the principal, the amount that you invest before number of years. That is the initial amount. And then I is the interest rate, and then N, it is the number of years. So that means our A in this case, it is 95,000. It is provided. It is 95,798 and 35 cents. And then our principal is what we are looking for, which is the X, or the present value. And then you have 1 plus, therefore, what is 8.25%? Remember, you divide this by 100, you're going to get 0.0825, but compounded annually, meaning you're going to divide by 1. So it's not necessary for you to say divide by 1, because it's going to be the same thing. So this divide by 100 is going to be our interest. It's going to be 0.0825. Divide by 1, like I said, you don't need that, even though, I mean, like, and therefore, number of years is a period of how long? 7 years. Again, you can multiply this 7 by 1 because it is compounded annually, but it's not that necessary to write multiply by 1. Okay? Now, remember, we are looking for P. So that means to solve for P, we're going to have to divide by this. So that means here I have 95,798.35. Divide by the whole thing, which is 1 plus 0.0825 to the power of 7. Therefore, what is my numerical value of P? You go to your calculator, you press a fraction button, 95,798.35. Divide by open bracket 1 plus 0.0825 close bracket to the power of 7. And therefore, how much do you get? You get 55,000 rand op die kop. You get 55,000 rand. And therefore, this, it is the money that was initially invested into this savings account. So this money, it has tended to be 95,000. From 55,000 to 95,000, it is because it has an interest over a period of 7 years. Was that clear? All right. Now we're going to do question number 1.4. Now let us read 1.4 together. So 1.4, it says to us, Linda deposits 4,500 Rand into a savings account. Linda. At the end of 4 years, she adds a further amount of 2,500 Rand into the savings account. The interest paid on the savings is 7.5% per annum, compounded annually. Not monthly, not yearly, not what. Yes, annually, it's the same as yearly. Now, the first question, calculate how much is in the account at the end of 4 years, immediately after the second deposit. Number 2, calculate how much there will be available, how much there will be available, okay, how much there will be available in the savings account 10 years after the first deposit. Okay, let us break this thing down first. Linda has made how many deposits? You have to understand that, you see, this is the most important thing. If you want to use a util, you want to util, I would advise to use, I would advise you to use your timeline here. So Linda has made how many deposits into a savings account? 2 deposits, ne? Linda, at first, she deposited 4,500. And then after some years, after 4 years, she came again. She deposited another 2,500 Rand into that savings account. You see? So Linda has made total deposits of what? Of 2. She has made 2 deposits into this savings account over these years, right? So let's open up our timeline. Ne? Let's open up our timeline. Let's start. Linda deposit 4,500 into a savings account. Okay, here's Linda. She went to a bank, maybe FNB. And then when she got into a bank, today, Linda decided to take 4,500. How's my writing now? So Linda decided to take, Linda decided, Linda decided to take a 4,500 rand into savings account. Here's Linda, right? She went to FNB. Boom, 4,500 into an account. At the end of 4 years, from here, I can say T1 is fine to T4. So after 4 years, okay, at the end of 4 years, she adds a further amount of 2,500 into the account. After 4 years, Linda comes again. Obviously, this money, 4,500, it has been in a bank for 4 years. And this money, obvious, it was busy in a bank earning an interest. It was earning an interest while this amount was in the bank. And then Linda came again 4 years later. She added another amount in the savings account. She added how much? Let's see, where is it? 2,500. She adds another 2,500 into savings account. The interest paid on the savings is 7.5% per annum compounded annual. Or apparently, the interest has been the same throughout, but the interest of how much? The interest of 7.5% compounded annually. Okay, compounded annually. You know what's happening here, ne? This is what they are telling us. They are telling us that this amount has been earning an interest of the bank. I get it, you know, when you invest money in a bank takes your money and they use your money. So for the fact that they use your money, if you save your money with them, they're going to give you extra money, which earns an interest. So in this case, Linda, she's going to get 7.5%. But this 7.5% is compounded annually, meaning each and every year, this amount that was invested will earn 7.5% each and every year. So the question says to us, calculate how much money is in the account at the end of 4 years. Immediately, this is very important, immediately after the second payment. So Linda, to answer question number 1.4.1, we're going to use compound interest, obvious. A is equals to P1 plus I to the power of N. Why am I saying obvious? We're going to use this formula because compounded annual, compounded this, okay? That means we're going to use this formula. So Linda, we want to know, after 4 years, immediately she makes this payment, what will be the amount by the end of 4 years? So now to calculate this, we're going to say A is equals to the principal, it's 4,500 rand, 1 plus I, our interest is 7%, 7.5%, means it's going to be 0.075 to the power of 4, right? Because this money, it has been there for 4 years in an account. And therefore, we're going to say 4,500, open bracket, 1 plus 0.075 to the power of 4. And then our answer will be 6,000. 6,961 cents. So that means 4,500 will turn into 6,009.61. This 4,500 will turn into this. But remember, at the end of 4 years, this is what you're going to get from 4,500. We're going to get this. But remember, she added 2,500. So meaning we're going to just have to add it over here. We're going to say she added immediately after 4 years, she added another amount. So that means at the bank, Linda, after, let me write it like this. That means Linda after 4 years. Let me write it like this actually. Let me write it like this. So you're going to say after 4 years, Linda will be having 6,009.61 from 4,500, and then she added another amount, which was 2,500. So you're gonna add these two values. You're gonna say 6,009.61 plus 2,500, and then our answer will be most definitely, let me see, it's gonna be 8,509.61. Okay, so meaning after 4 years, Linda will be having this kind of amount, okay, because she added this one at the end of 4 years. Meanwhile, this one was busy there, any interest until 4 years. Then she added on top of this amount, 6,000, she added 2,500. Obviously, by the end of 4 years, she'll be having this amount because they said immediately after the second deposit. This is immediately after second deposit, 4 years after the second deposit. Okay, so this will be 4.1. Now 4.2, it says to 1.4.2, it says to us, calculate how much there will be available in the savings account 10 years after the first deposit. You know what, ne? So now this timeline, meaning Linda, her aim was to save 4,500 and 2,500 for a period of 10 years. Okay, so we want to know, calculate how much there will be available in the savings account 10 years after the first deposit, meaning from the moment she made her first deposit until here. Obviously, this is also included. The moment she made her first deposit until here, how much Linda has accumulated for a period of 10 years. That's what we want to know. So there are two ways to do this, but this is 3 marks, man, guys. You don't want to do longer steps that are necessary. You're not even gonna finish with these questions if you keep on doing long things. So to calculate this amount, this is what is happening. Remember what's happening. 4,500 plus 2,500, when they earn an interest, we said it's gonna yield to this amount, right? So meaning at this point in time, here, 4 years, in 4 years, Linda will be having 8,509.61. This is amount in a bank in 4 years, after 4 years. So from this 4 years, from this 4 to that 10, how many years are remaining for this amount to earn an interest? 6 years, right? From 4 to 10, we have 6 years remaining. So we're going to take this amount that has accumulated by the end of 4 years, and then we're going to reinvest it for the remaining 6 years. While we reinvested this principal, it will earn an interest rate of 7.5%. So that means we're going to say, let me solve it over here, it's fine. 1.4.2, we're going to say A is equals to P1 plus I to the power of N. So we're going to take this principal, we're going to reinvest it, which is 8,509.61. 1 plus I is the same I, which is 0.075. Remember, this I have been dividing it by 1 because they said compounded annually, so it's not that necessary to write divide by 1. And then N, remember, is for the remaining 6 years, right? From 4 to this thing to 10 is the remaining 6 years. You know, you can take this amount, invest it for 10 years. You can take 2.5, invest it for 6 years. Add them together, you're still gonna get the same answer. But this is the quickest and the shortest way to do this. And therefore, when you punch this on your calculator, you're gonna say this 1 plus 0.075 to the power of 6. So that means by the end of 10 years, Linda will be having this amount, 13,132 and 89 cents. Therefore, this will be your final answer at the end of 10 years. I know here it's 6. Why? Because it is the remaining 6 years after these deposits.